Hello, my fellow friends, and today we are again here to for self improvement, for English improvement. So today, what we are going to do is we're going to talk about a topic to improve English. Right? That topic is taxi. Right? What are the terminologies? What are the things we need to care about when we whether we are booking a taxi or whether we are in a taxi or like we need to get a taxi, whether it is offline or offline. So I will try to cover everything and enough to you can say that yes, I now know right how to book a taxi or what are the terminologies in English that we commonly use or that the native speakers commonly used in English. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tandem application, and it's like it would be very interesting to I'm going to have conversation with international people, right? The as some people talk with Omegle too, but this is known as tandem. It's not Omegle, it's tandem application in which it's language exchange application where you can practice your speaking skill, which is very essential to practice. I will try to cover this all under 30 minutes, so I will not try to waste your time and my time too. So I'm going to create a party section as Tandem offers us to become social, exchange my time too. So I'm going to create a party section as Tandem offers us to become social, exchange by creating a party. So what would be the party title? The party title I will take is day one, day one of self, or we can say day one of speaking improvement or improving in English. Okay, today's topic. So we cannot write more than 50 words, or it's okay, we can just write it in a description. Today's topic is taxi, right? I would write it in a semicolon, taxi, right? So we will try to cover each and so yes, and I think in a scientific way, if you just listen the easy English and we just learn something by English, and that's the better way our brain reacts to that positively, right? So now I'm live right now, but the thing is I need to wait for some listeners to be here. So when at least there are 5 listeners would be here, I will record this again, and we will start this conversation, crazy conversation, right? So I am starting anyway because we have one listener. I've been waiting for 30 minutes, and it's okay. It's the first time, and time is valuable, and I don't want to waste any of the time, if even if it's only one viewer or listener. So we need to talk about it. So let's start with some basic taxi terms. What we need to really have to practice, right? So basic taxi terms, Lini. Uh, the thing is, when we need to get a taxi, we have some ways, right? We have some ways. Whether we are in a public area or a street and have to wait for a taxi, or there is a spot, that is particularly made for to stand here, to stand there and wait for taxi, and you can then start your journey. So what do we call to if there is no stop and you need to get a taxi, um, even if you are in a rush hour or kind of a public street? What do we call it? So we call it um, hailing a taxi. To hail, hailing a taxi. The spelling is HAILING. So hailing. So what does hailing mean? So hailing means trying to get driver attention by some glances, like waving your hands, like you are in a public street and suddenly the taxi is arriving, or you see a taxi, and then what you will do is you will wave your hands or try to get the driver's attention in order to talk with the driver, right? In order to take a taxi, you will wave your hands so that driver can really indicate you, identify, or maybe driver can, like what we say, that is like detect you. So this was the first terminology. And what about second? So taxi have some types, right? There are some types of taxi, and there are not more. It's compulsory that there are only two types of taxis. One is black cabs. It is very common in London and UK. It's very common. We usually call black cabs to those which are very trained, taxi drivers, and they are very trained. They mostly know each area, each area in the particular city or kind of whole London. So you can trust them, and they might commonly are experienced or aged. You will not see commonly the young, because as young are not so much knowledgeable about the areas. So there is a black cab, and the second is, the terminology is the mini cabs. What do we call it? The mini cabs. So what is the mini cabs? What is the difference? What is the actual difference between the mini cabs and the black cabs? So the black cabs are actually the offline taxis, right? The black cabs are offline taxis. You cannot just book the black cab from any kind of online taxi dispatch application. So mini cabs are the online private booked taxi, and you cannot call or hail a mini cabs because it's a private, and it will be only you if you have booked it, and it needs to be pre-booked. So the mini cab can arrive to you and you can just start your journey. So this was the second very common and essential terminology for the taxi topic in English. And the next thing I would say is we all know the fares. Fares. What does fares mean? So the fares means usually the cost that you need to pay to the taxi driver after just reaching at your destination, or according to where you would start it, right? So to tell you, Lini, there are also two types of fares, right? There are two types of fares. The first is metered fares. So it's like a meter fares. And the second one is fixed fares. So what is actually the difference between metered fares and the fixed fares? So the metered fares are actually costed you according to the distance. When your distance is unpredictable, when you don't actually know where to go. It means the exact kind of location. Like if you are just new in a kind of city, and you just having a mini cab or kind of a black cab, and you just asking the driver that I just want to see or look this kind of city, and then you will just have the metered fares, right? You will not have the kind of fixed fares, because you don't know where to go. So the fixed fares, you can yourself understand that fixed fares are actually predefined fares. How much you have to give to the taxi driver, you have to predefine it. You have to pre-negotiate it. We call it negotiation, right? Negotiation. So negotiation is usually a discussion, a short discussion, or a kind of a deal discussion. So it's called a negotiation. So that's the third number is fares, right? We have talked about it, and I want to ask you, Lini, to give a kind of reaction if you are really understanding this, or if you're not understanding, you're kind of enjoying it, or you can say, can you just give or you are listening. Thank you very much, Lenny. So here you can see Lenny has given a hot reaction. Thank you very much. It kind of means a lot for me. So third was fierce, right? What is the next one? Next one is my favorite one. What is it called? Imagine a situation you have just entered to the or sit. You are in the taxi, right? What you are doing is you are going to seat belt, what we call that terminology, what we go to that terminology, it's related to the seat belt. What do we call it? If you're having a trouble with binding the seat belt or kind of like that, but what is the exact word? The exact word is buckling up. Buckling, not up, I'm so sorry, buckling. So buckling is the right way, which exactly means, right, which exactly means that you are having a proper seat belt, right, your proper seat belt across your body. So we also call it fastening seat belt, fastening the seat belt. And if you are having a problem with the seat belt, you can say, hey driver, I'm having trouble buckling the seat belt, can you just help me? And he will just help you, he or she will just help you. And in buckling, there is also kind of two terminologies which we need to know really, because it's very small. There are two terminologies which we say to buckle. One is buckle and the second is latch. What does it mean? The buckle means the receiving part, right? The buckle is the receiving part. Usually have a button when you press it and it is ready to have any kind of insertion. So the opposite is latch. What does the latch means? Latch means what you need to insert in that buckle kind of area, right? That's the latch. It's the inserting thing, right? It's the thing that you need to insert in the buckle. So when you combine it, then you have successfully buckled your seat belt, right? So this was the number 4, buckling the seat belt, right? The terminology for essential terminology for taxis, right? English. The next thing is I also did not know, but I recently know it, and I think it's very important to know for each of us who is learning English. That is the storage area. The storage area where we just stores the luggage, the back of the storage, the back storage area of the taxi or a car. What do we call it? What do we call it? Do you know, Lenny? You can just have the kind of reaction if you know it. If you don't know it, then don't give any reaction in the next 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Lenny don't know it. So I'm here to share it with you. So that terminology called trunk or boot. Trunk or boot. So you can say trunk or boot. Thank you very much, Lenny. Lenny is giving thumbs up. Thank you very much. So it is the storage area of back of the taxi or the car where you just can put your luggage, the heavy luggage which you need to get around with your journey. So that's the boot. In UK or London, you will usually listen or hear the boot word from the British native speakers. So they just usually use the boot word instead of trunk, but you can use both. It's safe to use there. So this was the number 5. 5th, the trunk. It was very easy. And the next thing I would say, it should be the first thing. It should be the first thing, because suppose you have hailed a taxi. Now you are ready to conversate, or you're ready to talk to the driver. What you will say the first sentence to the driver? What you will say? Will you say, "Hey driver, I need to go there. Hey driver, could you just take me to that kind of place?" What I think is, you first sure to be that, is it available really? There's many times when it's in my experience, when I just call or hail any kind of taxi, it is not available. Whether it is not available, I just ask them, I want to go there, and he says that simply, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. So, what you need to just what your first sentence should be. It should be, hey, is this taxi available? Is this taxi available? And along with this taxi, you can say, could you take me to that kind of place, or I need to go to that place. Is this taxi suitable for that place? Suitable. It's very important to understand the word suitable. What does it mean? Suitable means, let me give a break. I need to drink water. So sorry, I'm just having a dehydration problem here. Oh my God. So I'm really enjoying this conversation with Lenny. And I think Lenny should share this, but it's okay. It's on. We are here. And let's have something really good at it. We need to be good at it, Lenny. The English is very simple. You just need to listen it. The listening in a fun way. You don't need to take it seriously. And that's the part which I believe is. So let's go back to the topic. I'm so sorry for this. For this hydration break. Yes, where we were. We were at the suitable word. The terminology is suitable. What does it mean? It simply means right or appropriate for something. Like I just told you, the sentences, the basic sentences, you can just ask to the taxi driver. What was it? Hey, taxi driver, is this taxi available? Can I just, could you I need to go this place. I need to go to this place. Is this taxi suitable? So in this sentence, it simply means, is this taxi the right way? Is it going to that kind of, will it go to that kind of direction? Am I appropriate for this taxi? So yes, it was this. And I think the basic taxi terms has been ended, but the whole taxi terminology is not ended. So yes, so this was only the essential basic taxi terms, Lenny. And I think you have learned it, and I think you should learn it. You should practice it. Now, I have also organized it into two parts, the taxi terminologies. The next part is talking with drivers, talking with taxi drivers. In these situations, we will have some scenarios, right? We will imagine some scenarios, like we will imagining some, like you are entered into the taxi. How will you negotiate, or how will you just communicate with the taxi driver? We can have some scenarios like, let's see, you have entered into the taxi, and you have asked to the taxi driver that, is this taxi available? And the taxi driver said, yes, it is available. You can go to that. You can sit, you can enter, you can get in. This is the best word. You can get in. This is the right way to use sit in. You can get in to the taxi, right? You can get in the taxi, not to. So yes, so this is number 2, conversating or communicating with taxi driver. So in this, we have to cover some basic sentences so we can understand really easily how we can communicate with the taxi driver. The first sentence, we already covered it. Could you take me to a kind of particular place? Could you take me to this place? Right? You're straight asking to the driver, hey driver, can you just take me to the kind of place? I want to go there. I need to go there. Right? So this was the first sentence. And yes, now the second sentence is in the scenario, some kind of scenario. Let's see, you have get in the taxi, and now the traffic jam appears, and you are confused. where I am right now, and like how much time it will take, right? How much time it will take to my destination. So how will you ask it to the taxi driver? How will you ask it? I think the best way, the best sentence is how long it will take to get there. How long will it take to get there? So this is the right, correct sentence to ask to the taxi driver to how much time it will take to get there. So you can just really have approx time estimate, and this time is gonna, estimate your time that it will take to get there. So yes, I think this was important. So I just shared with you, and let's imagine this there are only few sentences left, Lini, and I think that would be enough for taxi terminologies, taxi English, in a kind of simple or understanding or conversational ways. You can easily conversate with the taxi driver, right? So what we need to do is imagine you are just in a taxi, and you are just you have just you want to go to some place, and taxi driver is really driving the taxi in order to get there. But suddenly you have just got a call from your any kind of relative, and he said, hey, I watched you, I have seen you, you're in the taxi, you're in that kind of black taxi, and can you just stop, let's talk. And the best friend just called you, and he is really your best friend, and he needs, and you need to kind of meet him. So but you are going to your destination. So how can you ask to the taxi driver to just stop the taxi, and you can just meet your friend? So the best sentence, I think, is to talk with the taxi driver with this sentence: I apologize for the change, I need to get off here. So this sentence, I think, I apologize for the change, I need to get off here. So in this way, you can just convince the taxi driver that you need to really stop here and get out from the taxi. So the taxi journey is ended here suddenly. But I'm at the same time, you're apologizing in a formal way. It's not really apologizing. It's just a formal way to say to the taxi driver. And I think this is the taxi driver will really stop and will let you to get off. And then next scenario could be you have changed your mind, and you said you have seen you have seen something special, you have planned another thing, you have got some kind of yes, I am hungry right now, and I need to really need to eat something. So in that scenario, you can tell to the taxi driver, could you head towards to the restaurant? Could you head towards to the restaurant? In this way, you're just asking taxi driver or ordering the taxi driver to just now stop driving to the previous kind of location. Now just let's go to the restaurant, towards the restaurant. So towards the restaurant doesn't really means the exact location. It just means where usually the restaurants have. Like, it's not about one restaurant, it's really some kind of shops. There are so many restaurants there. So you can say, could you head towards some restaurants? You can say to the taxi driver, and he will really admit it. So this was it, Lini. I think today we have just covered the basic essential taxi terminologies, and in this what we have discovered is the basic ones, and the talking with the taxi drivers, and how can you just end up your journey with the taxi, with a particular taxi or with a taxi driver. And this was it, and it was in 3 scenarios where we just can I just summarize this for you? Okay, so in the first we just covered what is hailing a taxi means, and black cabs versus mini cabs, and what are actually types of fares, right? And what does trunk mean? The large storage area back of the car usually they are located, and how can we just enter to the taxi? How can we just say this? So that is getting in. Can I get in? Can I get in with this? And some polite sentences to talk with taxi driver. I apologize for the change. I need to get off here. It's the mind change, right? It's in the mind. You changed your destination. You need to suddenly get off here in this place. So next, could you head towards some kind of another place you want to go, right? And this was it. And I think today it's end. I have promised to my audience to cover this under 30 minutes, and I think it's here. It's not even 25 minutes. So thank you very much, Lini. This is a great shout out to Lini. Great thanks to Lini, because she has listened this whole my god whole conversation, man. It's 25 minutes long, and I appreciate this, because the persons that have longer time span, above 20 minutes, above 25 minutes, that are really rare. Best wishes to you, and thank you very much. Okay, so Lini has gone. So this was it. I think I have just covered something that is really helpful, I think. And if I have made any mistake, I know I'm making some mistakes, because I'm not good at it in English. I'm improving each and every day. I am exploring some kind of concepts and with this PC, and I think I need your support, guys. What kind of support? The support that you can just tell me in the comments what are the things I can really cover, and what are the things I need to get fixed. This support I really need from you guys. So thank you very much for stick around with this journey. We will talk about another concepts also. So goodbye for this today. Happy Christmas.